one and only Tom Dickson from Blendtec, and we are so excited to be here because this is epic. I mean, Will It Blend? Who has not heard of Will It Blend? So Tom, tell us about how did all this get started?
Well, once upon a time, I finally hired a marketing person because we're an engineering company. We don't have any marketing and sales. So I finally hired George Wright, just a great guy. He just left Geneva Steel. He was one of the last employees at Geneva Steel when they shut down. So I hired him, and he came to me one day and he said, he saw a pile of sawdust, and he asked him, "What is that?" And that's Tom trying to break things, trying to break blenders. And so he came to me and he said, "Tom, what's my budget?" Because he's new. I said, "You're the budget. You're the most expensive person we've ever had." And he said, "How about $50?" I said, "Okay, you can have $50." So
That was generous.
Yes, sure.
You think big?
Yeah, I think big. So he went to Costco. He got a rotisserie chicken. He got some marbles. He got some racan, a bunch of different things, and came to me. And then at the time we had Kels Goodman.
Oh, Kels.
And Kels, between he and Kels filmed this thing. And so we did a bunch of videos, I think 5 of them or so. And then George came to me 5 days later and he said, "We hit a home run. We have 6 million views on YouTube."
That's amazing.
And I said, "YouTube?" I had no idea. I mean, I'm an old man, you know. And so, I mean, I'm like 59 years old, and someone's telling me about YouTube. So anyhow, it turned out to be a home run all around. The next week, we're on the Jay Leno show. We're on a Today show out with all the people the day before Thanksgiving in New York. And then the History Channel, Katie Couric, Charles Osgood, Donnie Deutsch, all of the big guys. Discovery Channel all over Europe. I'm the most destructive guy in the world.
Amazing.
Right here, they flew in from England. They flew in from England, and they had and they did a count. This is the first place they came. They flew into L.A. and San Francisco, and then converged here. And this was on a holiday. It was like a Memorial Day weekend or something like that. And so we went through and we did a blend. And at the end, they awarded me the trophy, because this is a countdown. They have the 10 most destructive people in the world, from Spain and Italy and Colorado, a guy that jumps off a big platform into a little swimming pool, from people all over the world. And they tease it all the way through, and the very end is, will it blend? And so they gave me the trophy.
And did you blend the trophy?
I did.
Oh, I love it.
Absolutely.
I blended the trophy. So I got home that night, and my wife said, "So what'd you do today?" I said, "I blended a bunch of stuff for these people from England, the Discovery Channel." And they gave me the trophy for being the most destructive person in the world. And she said, "Where's the trophy?" I said, "I blended it."
That's perfect.
She says, "Yeah, but they had another one, right?" No, that was it. It's gone.
That was the only one.
It's history. And recently, one of the comments on the last video we put up, someone said, "Let's help." I'm about 900,000 subscribers and 500 million clicks and 500 million clicks. And someone said, "Hey, let's help Tom get to 1 million subscribers so he can get the button, the YouTube button, and he can blend it." And so I thought, what a great comment. So now that's my goal, is to get to 1 million subscribers.
Get that
So
button and blend it.
to get the
let's
button.
do this.
Let's
get
do this.
more-
Let's
Yeah.
get to 1 million
Yeah.
so we can blend it.
Yeah, I have the 500,000 one. I didn't blend that, but I want to blend the 1 million one.
So
do we.
before we get to blending something really cool, which is obviously what we're here to do,
Back to the company.
you got to just tell us one thing. What is the key to Blendtec's success?
Just hard work.
Yeah.
Just hard work and finding the right people. We have the best people in the world. They're wonderful. And so I can only do so much. I'm an engineer, I'm an inventor, and we have the best engineers on the planet of any. I mean, we innovate. Anything you see in any blender today that's of any worth, we invented it. From sound enclosures that would go on this particular one to program cycles, anything you see that people copy, any blender has, we invented it.
And you're the engineer. You invent a lot of it, but how do you foster that creative mind in the rest of the team? How do you spread that?
Fortunately, people aren't quite like me. Because I'm ADHD and I'm dyslexic, And I really struggled. I mean, I struggled like crazy. And fortunately, I was able to get it without being able to read. I was able to get through BYU. If it took me 5 years, but it was a real struggle. So I really struggle, but I see things by being ADHD and dyslexic that nobody else sees. So even with my engineers, I go to them, I'll doodle something up on the board, they roll it into the engineering room, they sit around a glass table, they draw things up, they talk about, now what is he saying? And they do anything that I come up with, they make it so good, they perfect it. So that's how that whole thing works. And it's led to, I mean, our biggest market is in China.
Wow.
Number one.
Everyone says we have to manufacture in China
Right.
and buy stuff in America. You're doing the opposite. You're manufacturing this beautiful, and it is beautiful.
Yes.
This is really, you're making
Yeah.
that here
Yeah.
and sending it to China. You flipped the equation.
Yes, yeah. And that particular blender, the two top blenders, this one sells 60%, and this has a sound enclosure that goes on it, just like you see in Jamba Juice. But it's got a capacitive touch. It's just the ultimate. This sells here, the Pro 800 sells here for $800. It sells in China for $2,000. And 60% of the blenders we sell in China are the Pro 800s, the most expensive one, and the other 40% are the designer. You know, it's the top, the next on the line, and that sells for about $1,200, and that's what the Chinese buy. And so, and we own 14% of the high-end blender business, and no other blender in the world has even 5% of the Chinese market.
So that market wants the best, and when they want the best,
Yes.
they're coming to you. They're getting
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah, they're not buying the Ninjas and the Bullets and all the junk that Chinese junk we buy here in the U.S.
Yeah.
They're buying Blendtec blenders. Now, it's interesting, during the pandemic, we have never, we're growing every single month during the pandemic. It's our best months ever because now people realize they want the best. They're spending all this time in their kitchen. They're not going to fool around with a Ninja with 6 razor-sharp blades that are going to cut you up. They're going to get something that really performs and lasts. So instead of these 1-year warranty things, that has a 10-year warranty and an 8-year warranty. Yours has an 8-year warranty. Anytime you need a jar or anything.
I'll tell you my story. So
Yes.
I started with a Ninja, and because I
Did you cut yourself?
So I haven't cut myself, but it was a junk within a year, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
We use this daily. We have for many years, and so we thought, oh, this would be a great one. Let's try this out. And so it lasted a year. We're like, okay, well, we've got to get something better.
Yeah.
And so then we said, well, let's get a Blendtec. And so this has been on the counter now for some time, and this sucker is just like, you know, will just blend to no end. And so when you thought of longevity, what I'm amazed at is just the amount of structure that you have in here. Why so robust? This is like,
It's overbuilt.
this is
It's just
so
like more than
robust.
you would expect.
This is
right?
it was way more than I expected.
It's heavy and it's just
It is
solid.
and the programmable feature. When I started to use it, it has different speeds on that. So tell us about what's the thinking behind the robustness and really getting this out to the market.
Okay. Yeah, and in 1968, my good friend Ken Woolley, who's a major employer here in Utah, he founded Extra Space Mini Storage in 1976, named by BYU marketing class, and number 2 in the world now. He gave me and my dear wife a blender for a wedding present, and it didn't even last a year before the coupling. I said, someday, this is 1968, I said, someday I want to build a blender that won't break. So this is what it's taken all these years.
And now you're still trying to break it. You're
Still trying to break it, yeah.
I think we should
all
blend
the,
some stuff
all the
up.
time, yep.
I'm ready.
So,
Let's do it.
all right.
Dream come true. We are on the Will It Blend show.
Let me do one, and then I'll let one of you
Perfect.
do it, okay?
Okay, show
A
us how
brake
it's done.
candle. And by the way, I buy 500 rake candles at a time. That's how many rake candles.
Wait, just in case anybody's curious if he's telling the truth here, we just have some spares just in case we need to blend some more ray candles here.
Yeah, so they're fun. I did this on the Jay Leno show, and it took 8 seconds.
Oh,
And
goodness.
I had no idea. Anyhow, it was great. There were 17 million people, I think, watching that night. And so it was a lot of fun. So that's the first, and I'm very fortunate that nothing went wrong. But anyhow, and I talked about you. Where are you from? I'm from Utah. Best place in the world to do manufacturing.
Absolutely.
No place is better. This is why we moved 32 years ago from Northern California, where I grew up, Silicon Valley. And I just looking, it's so funny. 2 houses we had. I was just thinking of this. 2 houses. One we paid $27,000 for, and that one is right near the new right near the new Apple campus.
Wow.
It's $2 million. And the other one, it's only that we paid $50,000 for. It's not quite that much. It's about a mile away from there. It's a much bigger house, but it's only $1.8 million. We paid $50,000.
It's all about how close you are to Apple headquarters. Is that the?
Yeah, it's how close you are. And this is a 2,100 square foot house. It's our first house out of BYU.
Why is Utah the best place to manufacture?
There's
Because we all know that's true, but tell us
It's so true. I put in to make our rotor and stator in our kitchen mill. No foundry in the world could make those 2 parts that had a 10 thousandths clearance. So I had to put my own foundry in. So I got Larry Vinker, who is a professor at BYU teaching foundry, one summer to help me put in California precision casting right in Silicon Valley. And you just don't put a foundry in that kind of a place with all of the restrictions and everything else. But a very successful. We've done $50 million in sales off that mill. We made 43,000 mills in 2 years and put 40 companies out of business that made the old stone-type mills. So, but I realized
these are grain mills using blending
grain
technology.
Yes.
You've been in blending technology for a long time.
Yeah, 42 years. That was 1979 we introduced the first mill under the Magic Mill name, a Utah company who was making a stone mill. They took one look at this and they said, our history's gone if we don't join. And so they actually sold our mill for 2 years. Unfortunately, during the first year of the 2-year contract, they hired an engineer, Leon Scott, in Salt Lake, in Riverton, to copy me. And so anyhow, they took the technology, and then they sued me for $800,000 to try to put me out of business. And then we moved to Utah, the bread making capital of the world. Utah, you got to be there. And then we put in 6 stores within a half a mile of Magic Mill stores, and 6 months later they filed for bankruptcy. And so now, and it's quite a story, but I spent 3 decades in federal court, 3 decades from people stealing things that I come up with.
Wow.
So anyhow, enough of that. All right.
Let's pretend they're that rake there. Let's blend it.
Yeah. And they're, of course, way out of business. Okay, now, so what I'm going to do is crank this up all the way. And that doesn't sound good. Ta-da!
There's literally shrapnel everywhere. If you're on the other side of the camera, you can't really appreciate what just happened. The sheer violence and destruction that took place. You really are the most destructive man in the world.
Yeah. Yay!
That's the scariest thing I have ever done. I do not want my hand to go down in there. Look at that.
Oh, look at that. Sawdust. Pure sawdust right there.
No other blender in the world will do that.
That is just amazing.
Only Blendtec.
Incredibly satisfying about having a stack of broom handles just sitting there waiting. Okay, Ryan,
You ready?
You're up. Let's do it.
All right. Look at that go.
Oh man,
Oh,
hours of entertainment.
that is
Who knew?
just amazing.
Same jar.
How do I convince my wife that we need a second Blendtec
Wow.
just for the shop? Like,
It
out
is.
in the
That's a
garage?
great idea.
Yeah, I mean we
One
have
on the
one,
counter,
but
one in the garage.
we might need a second one.
I love it.
Tom, thank you.
You're
for
welcome.
Showing
This
us
is so fun.
the power of the Blendtec blender.
So you can
That's
cut
amazing.
me out of it and just show you guys. We'll really edit that
Oh,
that
that was
Oh, we had
awesome.
fun.
Yeah. No, mine was going about speed 6 or something like
No,
that.
that
So
was much faster.
you guys did great.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do a COVID goodbye. Tom, thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much
Yes.
We
for having
appreciate
us.
it, and thank you for manufacturing in Utah.
Yes, best place in the world to do business, period, not just manufacturing, anything. It's the best. We love it
So
here.
true.
Couldn't agree.
And most of